Hello, all my crafty people out there. It is time for our weekly project. If you have not been here before, my name is Stephanie, and I upcycle clothing, generally from my local thrift stores, and we make either new clothing or accessories. And this week we have a special project. This is a shawl that I thrifted from my local American thrift, and of course, still have the tags on it, which is lovely. It was $2.99 at the American Thrift, and it's beautiful. I think the colors are lovely. It's rather large, and I had a subscriber make a comment on another video that she thought it would be really nice if I could make a poncho. So we're going to make a super simple poncho out of this shawl, and in all honesty, I love shawls, but I can't stand to wear them because they're always shifting and I'm trying to keep them on and move and do whatever. I want it to stay where I put it. So I think this is what's going to happen with this particular piece. If you have not seen this before, or if you would like to follow along, like, subscribe, let me know what you think, give me some comments, and I'll catch y'all at the table. Okay, everybody, I'm going to have a different angle this time, and I got a new cutting board, so the numbers are backwards, so bear with me. It's going to be a little different. Hopefully you won't catch my head overhead, in the camera view. We'll see how far I get with that. So here we have our shawl. It's a big shawl. It's about, the short side is about 40 inches, and then the long side is about 70. So it's a 40 by 70, and this is folded in half. Here's the fold over here. So I've got it folded in half, and you can see how pretty it is. I think it's a pretty plaid. It's nice bright colors. So we're going to use this fold line to make our shawl, and we're also going to use one of the side seams. So bear with me. It's going to be very short sewing process. We're going to sew from the bottom down here up to the fold, right short of 11 inches of the fold. So we're going to, or you can do it this way. You can measure down 11 inches, which is about this blue stripe right here. Another good thing about using plaid. So this blue stripe is 11 inches. If I followed the blue stripe and went all the way to the end, that's my side seam. One seam, okay? And then the only other seam we're going to have is we're going to measure 14 inches from this corner, which is about right here, and we're going to open that up. Now, because of the fabric this is made out of, it's a woven wool kind of fabric, and we don't want it to fray, we're going to use what was left over of some black sleeves, which I think I used for the Christmas bags, for the wine bottle bags or oil bottles, whatever you wanted to put in there. And I only need 14 inches, and I think 14 by 2 should be plenty enough fabric to sew right down this seam, this fold, I should say, so we can keep it from fraying. So I'm going to need 14, and this is almost 20 inches across, 10 and 10. So we'll have plenty of fabric in this sleeve. So let's cut that first. And I just dropped it, of course. So let's cut 14 by 2 out of this. And I'm just going to cut down this center seam, make it a lot faster for us. Because it's always easier to work with a flat piece of fabric, don't you think? So this shirt has come in handy. I've used it for 2 projects now. So we're going to take our ruler, and we're going to try to make sure we straighten this up a bit, because it is curved from being a sleeve. So we're going to cut this, even it up like that. Got a little extra down here where the seam is. And then we're going to pull back 2 inches so we can make it 2 inches wide. And then we'll worry about cutting it 14 inches long. All right. Now we've got our 2-inch strip, and we've got plenty left over for something else. And we just need this strip to be about 14 inches long. So just, I don't know, just for security reasons, we're going to make it a little longer because we're going to have to kind of hem the end of it. So let's cut this part off right here. Make sure it's nice and straight. All right. And let's see. 30. Let's see. Maybe we're just going to leave it long for right now. And we'll cut it to size when we need to put it on the shawl. Okay, I went ahead and trimmed my fabric down to 15 inches. I know I said leave it long, but so it's 2 by 15. And I'm going to serge all 4 sides. And the reason I'm going to do that is it's just going to make it easier to hem. If you wanted to, or if you needed to, you could just hem the edges. But I want to make sure that they don't fray any more than the fabric we put them on is going to fray. All right, we put this through the serger. Of course, again, we could just hem the edges if we wanted to. Do a little 1/4 inch hem. You might want to make it a little bigger if you want to use it for that purpose or in that way. But this is a 2 by 15 essentially. And what I want to do is, this is my shawl folded. This is the fold, and it falls on this blue line, which just makes things so much more easy to accommodate. And what we want to do is we want to fold it out, open up that fold. We know it's this blue line, so that makes life easier. If you didn't have something easy to, pre-marked, essentially is what this ends up being, you could just run your marker down it or whatever you needed to do to mark it. So essentially what we're going to do is we're going to center this piece of black fabric on this blue line. Now, the sides are the same for this. There's not a wrong side or right side for this particular piece of fabric, which is great. You know how I like that easy peasy stuff. So we're going to put this down the center of this blue line, or in your case, whatever line you've used to mark your 14 inches. And we're just going to throw a couple pins on it just to make sure it stays there. And we're going to go run stitches. And I want to run stitches right down on either side of this black piece of fabric. In other words, you know where your serge line is or your hem line is. You want to run it down beside that. So I'm thinking you're probably going to have maybe 1/4 inch or 5/8 of an inch in the middle that's open. And the reason we're going to do that is we're going to be able to cut down that line. And when we cut down that line, we'll be able to fold this fabric in and stitch it down in place, kind of like a welt pocket. We'll do the little V down at the bottom and everything, make sure it squares up properly. So let me go sew this down. Again, I'm going to run a stitch down this side. I'm going to go over the bottom, and then I'm going to come up. So I'm just going to follow the line of this fabric, leaving about a 1/2 inch, or well, probably about 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch in the middle. Maybe not quite 5/8. That's a little bit much. But we just want to be able to cut down the middle and open it up and secure the edges to something that's going to keep it from fraying. So let's go to the machine, sew it, and then we'll cut it up. we have sewn this strip of 15 by 2 down the center of the fold where we're going to cut open part of our neck. This is the part where we get brave. Now I sewed it all the way to the edge, so I'm trying to keep anything from fraying. I expect a little fray, but I'm hoping not too much. And I'm just going to cut right down the center of my seam, which is about, it's about a 1/2 inch wide. So I'm going to just cut down the center like this. And trust me, looking at this black on black, y'all can see my head come in view. Sorry. Let's see, right to the end here. And then what we're just going to do is we're going to cut that little V, you know, so it opens up properly. And then what we'll do is we'll fold this to the inside. And when we fold this to the inside, that'll give us a nice, clean edge. And then what we'll do is we'll go around and we will top stitch that down. So looking at it from this side where we're turning it in, we're going to be turning it in like this. And we're going to go top stitch this down. And I might go ahead and turn my serge line under at the same time just to give it a more finished look. And because here's the thing, we're going to see this one way or the other. In other words, because of the way we're going to turn it, and you'll see, we're going to see it kind of, I'll have to show you. When we put the neck together, you'll see that there's a possibility you will see this edge. So I want to make sure it is turned under. And I'm turning under the serge, which if you hemmed it, you probably won't have to turn anything under because it'll work just fine. It'll look nice and finished already. But I'm just going to turn it under here, and then I'm going to stitch it down. And I'm going to stitch it all the way, obviously, to the corner. We're going to pull that in, stitch that down, go back all the way to the other edge, turn that in, and stitch it down. And it's going to give us a nice finished edge, but we do want the inside to look a little finished too, which is why I'm turning it under twice here. And because when we wear it, you're going to see it possibly in the process. So bear with me. I'm going to go stitch this down, and then we will work on the last seam that will be required to finish this up completely. Yes, I said last seam. I wanted to give you more of a close-up. You can see the serge line right here, I think, if I tilt it right in the light because it's black on black. And remember, we're turning all of this in like that. And then when we turn it in, I am going to tuck that serge line under and give it kind of a finished edge. That's all I wanted to show you. That's what I'm going to be sewing from one end all the way down to the other side. And after we do that, then I'll show you that last seam that we're going to make. All right, we have sewn our facing, essentially is what that is, down on this this side. So you get a nice clean edge on this side. That's a piece of fillers. But anyway, you get a nice clean edge on this side. But you got to remember, or well, I got to tell you, the way we're going to be folding this out at the neck, we have to make sure that we seam the right way. And here's the logic. You see, this is the fold, and this is the little opening that we've made, right? And this is the, what we consider the wrong side because we're seeing the binding or the facing on it, right? But we're going to sew up this side up to 11 inches, which is, I think, is about right here. And then when we wear it, we will be turning it out like this. So this finished edge is what we want to see. And this is what I was talking about. You'll still see this end down here. It's in black. It's, and obviously you can get a coordinating color to whatever shawl you use. But you're not going to see it, but it's going to be potentially visible around your neck. So that's why I said you wanted a finished edge around this. So the only thing we've got left to do is to sew down this seam line, which is just one of the open sides, the same end as we did this 14-inch opening for the neck. So we're going to sew from the end all the way up to here, I believe. Yep, right below this blue line is our 11-inch mark. So we'll sew from here to the end, and then we'll be done, and we'll be trying it on. I kid you not. All right. Okay, everybody. Pretty sight. Not too bad. 2 fairly simple stitches. One down one of the open sides, and then something to open up the collar. And if you have a fabric that doesn't fray, you don't even have to worry about covering it like I did to make sure it didn't fray. So it's a little big on me. Most things are. But I figured, worst comes to worst, I'll cozy up on the couch in it if I need to. But I think it turned out pretty cute. It's an easy poncho, couple of stitches, and there you are. So I hope y'all enjoyed it. And if you find a really cool shawl that you want to wear this way, give it a try. Like, subscribe, let me know what you think, and I'll catch y'all on the flip side of our next project.